All right, we are ready to start building this double gable in the front of the house. This is what our house currently looks like, and this is what we're trying to accomplish. Now, the reason that this is part of this application assignment or practice assignment is because I have so many students who choose houses with double gables, and I find that there's nothing typical about building a double gable, so they often struggle. And if you don't know what you're doing here, you'll just spend a lot of time trying to figure it out, and you may never get it right. So here's a really clear, concise, easy way that you can build a double gable in your house. And to begin with, we're going to go look at this in the roof plan view. I'm looking straight down. And what I'll do to start off with is create it as though there were a single gable on the front. So this wall steps out, and then it steps out again. We're going to ignore that second step. We're going to pretend that we're building a gable that's going to go from this side and work its way up, and then to this side, work its way up, so that there should be a ridge in the middle, almost exactly like what we have on the back. The difference is the back doesn't have any protruding walls. These are protruding walls. So this gable would come forward. Okay, and again, we're just going to ignore this one entirely. Now, there's a step that I'm going to have you do that we would have encountered later, but since I know it's coming, we're going to do it and just take care of a problem right now. So I'm going to select my roof and hide it with temporary hide, HH. And that step is that these two walls need to be perfectly aligned to each other. And in order to do that, I'm going to do AL for align. And then I'm going to click on both walls right at their center is fine. And then I'm going to lock that in place. Okay, and the reason that we're doing this is because right now, if I edit my roof, I'll go into edit footprint. We've got a single line across the front. And as soon as we break it up, we're going to have a line over here and a line over here. And if those two lines don't line up perfectly, then we'll get a strange new ridge somewhere in our house that we never wanted. And it'll run at a diagonal up the roof. And it's very hard actually to get rid of it. But it's easy if we just say this wall and this wall are exactly the same. Therefore, their roof eaves should start in the same place too. Okay, the next thing is that I'm ready to start building the new roof elements. So I'm going to use pick walls, extend a wall core, define slope, and I'll begin over here on the left. And you can see what it did. It cut that wall short, or that line short that used to be part of the roof over here. So I can come over here and I can pick that side. And there we've got slope. Here I've got slope. And it keeps doing this thing that is a little bothersome. But every time I make a change, it's wanting to add something in at 912. Okay, and so I'm going to have to select all these lines and tell them to be 8. And something that I think we can do so that it will stop putting everything in at 912 is we should be able to go to one of these. It already says 812 there. Yeah, I guess I'm wrong. I don't know. That's just something you want to pay close attention to. Make sure that all your slopes are consistent and the same. Okay, so we are almost done with our first gable. I'm going to pick this again. This time extend a wall core, but I don't want to define slope because I'm going to get the front side here. And remember, that's how we make a gable. We have one side without any slope at all. And then I'll just trim this up. TR for trim. Choose two sides, two lines, and then they end up intersecting. And that should do it. So let's accept and see what we get. Okay, perfect. A couple things to check on. 1, do you have that strange ridge running through the diagonal? And 2, are all of your eaves lining up? And in my case, everything's good. If not, you'll want to go back, check for wall alignment, check to make sure that all of your slopes are consistent and that all of your overhangs are consistent. Okay, so it's looking good, but like I said, there's more to it. And the next step won't allow us to actually create our second gable as part of this roof. So we're going to come out here and we're going to create just an entirely new roof. So I'll go back to the roof command. And I'll stick with the pick lines or pick walls, extend to wall core, define slope. If it'll let me, as soon as it will, I'll make this an 812 also. And I'm going to, for now, just act as though I'm creating one little gable out here. So it's got slope on the left, it's got slope on the right, it doesn't have slope on the front, and there's no lines or walls to pick in the back. So we just draw that one. And again, this would be without slope. 4 lines, that's all we need. Let's make sure to adjust that slope to 812. And I don't know how far back to run this thing, but what I'm trying to do is get it so that it will run all the way back to this wall right here. Okay, so this line would go back till it hits that wall. And I can't do that right now because the roof is in the way, so I'll go ahead and just accept it and see what we've got. Okay, we've got 2 roofs that run through each other, and it's very clear that they do, right? Some extra lines that we don't really want in there. Okay, I'll fix that in a minute, but first let's go ahead HH after selecting this bigger roof so that it's temporarily hidden. Then we'll know exactly where to pull this piece to. So double click or edit the roof and click on the line that you want to move, pull it into position. We'll accept that. And we're just about done with the roof portion, not the wall portion, but the roof. And what I'm going to do is show you a new trick so that these two separate roof elements look like they're just one roof piece. I'll select the smaller one. Wouldn't really matter, just select any roof. And we're going to join their geometry. So click on join, and then you have to go select that same roof again, and then the other roof. And those two now act as one. You can always, if I hit escape, you can always select them independently. So I can't edit them together. But as far as looking like a single element, all the lines that would divide them have disappeared. Okay, we're just about done. Now we got to do some wall work. So I'll take this wall, and this part's easy, right? We're just going to attach that to the top. You will end up with these little triangular openings, and we've learned in a previous video that we can just attach those side walls so that they will hit the roof also, like this. Okay, now this one is not going to be quite so easy, right? In the past, all we've had to do is attach, but all it can do is attach as far over as it already extends, so it doesn't know that it needs to fill in this other area. And to fix that, I'm going to look at this straight on from the front. You can do this either in 3D, or you can go over here to an elevation view. And I'm going to click on this wall, edit its profile. Okay, and it's going to give you a little warning here. It's going to say, hey, you attached something, and if you edit the profile, we won't be able to do that anymore. And that's fine. Okay, now I'm going to use the Pick Lines tool, and I usually like to lock these in place. Locking it means if this roof shape should change, like we changed the slope of the roof, then the pink lines I'm about to attach to that roof will move with the new slope. Okay, so first I'll choose the underside of this roof gable element. Okay, and then I'm going to choose this piece over here. And then I'm going to choose the underside. So again, it's always the underside of a roof element over here. And you'll get a warning. We'll just say, I think I can unconstrain this. I don't really have a choice. Okay, and what I want you to see here, and what I'm trying to accomplish, is an outline for a wall that goes like it used to, but then up here, it's going to follow the roof, go down, come back down to here, and form one closed loop, which means this line needs to go away. That's getting in the way of a closed loop. These lines don't touch each other, so that's a problem. Can't have a closed loop with gaps, so I'm going to use TR for trim. Pull those two together. The same thing needs to happen over here, and the same thing needs to happen over here. Okay, and again, I think they're all locked, and they should be, and when you click on them, you should see little lock pads show up. And that is an indication that we could, again, change the roof slope, and still we would see these lines filling in the gap. Let's see if it worked. Check mark. We'll have to unjoin, and that's not a problem. Okay, that just means it can't extend up like it did before, but it is extending up because we changed the profile and we filled in the gap. Perfect. Okay, now let's run the final test. What happens if this becomes a 1012? Perfect. Now the only reason we get a little sliver of a gap down here is because we have another roof that would also need to change to a 1012. And now it's perfect. Okay, and it's an important element to be able to change these roof slopes, because sometimes we look at them, we move on, and then we come back and say, yeah, I think that should have been a different slope. Let's go in and make that adjustment. So there you have it. All of the gables are now complete, and it's time to move on to our salt box and our hip roof porch.